Clock out, come home, and drink away. To bash and burn the weekly plays. Douchey calls and sweaty balls, this is Scotch Sporting.
Welcome to SS, the Star Wars Spectacular.
Oh, yeah, you guys missed a really good Star Wars discussion.
Our new rebrand of our Star Wars
Yeah,
podcast.
Late HoloNet. I got all the files. We got all the pictures, we're ready to go.
Hey, Tyler, on Super BoobTube Dudes, have you guys done Midnight Mass?
No, we have not.
Okay.
So good.
I'm watching it. We're on episode 4. I have thoughts, and if you ever do it, just call me.
All right, will do.
Just
Well, you and I
put
can
it on-
discuss.
Sorry, Mark?
I'll
It's been like months since I've watched it, but I still think I remember most of it.
Your rewatch. I find it good. I find that a director's forced use of many of the same actors uncomfortable when some of them are British, and it's very obvious that they're British.
Oh, speaking of British people in playing non-British roles, I rewatched Band of Brothers this weekend.
Damian Lewis?
Damian Lewis, Michael Fassbender, Simon Pegg, the two dudes from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Who am I missing? Tom Hardy. They're all in there, and all of them with American accents, and some of them better than others.
Yeah. Dave watches Billions. Damian Lewis is okay.
Damian Lewis, I think, is probably the best, like, non-British.
Yeah,
I remember
solid.
what's the movie?
Solid, yeah.
What's the movie that he's in with the alien thing?
Dreamcatcher?
That's it. Where like and the alien voice is the British accent. I remember watching, going, his British accent's pretty good. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, that explains, because I'd only seen him in fucking Band of Brothers before that, right? You know who else, Mark? You know who else is in Band of Brothers that I totally forgot?
David Schwimmer.
No, you can't forget David Schwimmer.
Yeah,
he's amazing in it.
He's great.
Jamie Bamber.
I was just gonna say Jamie Bamber from Battlestar
Jamie
Galactica.
Bamber, another Brit playing an American.
A guy like who, when it started talking British, I'm like, oh, he's British.
Oh, he's British.
Sorry, Jamie Bamber from Law and Order UK.
No, Jamie.
Right, that was after.
No, Jamie Bamber from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Forever Apollo.
Forever Apollo.
As we've discussed on this podcast before, is somehow supposed to be the son of a notable Hispanic actor.
Yeah, duh. Like, no. Don't try to find. No. Yeah.
Don't shove a white guy into a role that was meant for
the whitest guy possible.
Very, very white.
You guys start talking about sports yet?
No, I was gonna bring it.
Have you listened to one of our shows?
I do.
I did want to, if I can just name check, Reigns of Podcastamere.
Yes.
Please go listen to old episodes.
Yes.
It came up because she was mentioned in an article that I was reading about something else. The woman that played Ross.
Yes.
And I was like, I remember her death being awful.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it wasn't good.
I read about her death again and read about season 3 and once again got so mad
because the show was so good and then all of a sudden sucked. How
far that show fell in terms of being fun to watch. Because man, were those early seasons good. Like, it just brought back all those feelings of how good that show used to be.
Fingers crossed. We got House of the Dragon, and we're bringing the podcast back. Whether you guys fucking want to or not, we're doing it.
Who's you guys? Us or the people listening?
No, you guys.
I know, David. Yeah, obviously I'll be on.
Oh, sir, you're just dragging me, kicking and screaming.
Yeah,
then, right?
I don't fucking care. You're coming on.
Dragging you.
Dragging you.
Close the doors.
You don't even have to watch it, Mark. You just get told what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for it. I like even if it's season 5 quality, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
If we can get season 5 quality out of it, I will be okay.
Season 5 was okay.
It was the most okay season.
Yeah, that was it. But it was such a. There wasn't even a plateau.
No.
Really, it just got good, bad.
Yeah.
So season 5 was near the top,
Yeah,
but on our way down.
Yeah, it 4, and then it came down a little, and then just kind of like did this.
Number 5 is just before you hit that drop. You know, on a roller coaster when they set you up.
But that's the best part of a roller coaster. It's not the best part of a TV show.
Okay, sports. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
so
let's do it.
Sports. Jesus, I don't even know where to start. Obviously, with our Scotch porting lead off, but I feel each of these lead off topics could be a deep dive on their own.
They could, yes.
No playful puns there, Chris?
I mean, no. We're talking about the best week of, like, this was the best divisional round I think I've ever seen in my life.
Truly.
I totally agree.
It's the only one where every single game was decided on the last play.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, the 49ers-Packers game was kind of a snoozer, but it still was exciting because it came down right to the end. I'd rather a snoozer like that than a fucking blowout. You know what I mean?
It honestly was the best weekend of football
I think I've ever seen in my life. I've ever seen in my life. 4 games that were all fucking good.
Yeah. So we'll start with the first one. Maybe the snooziest. Bengals at Titans.
I don't even think it was.
So we go into this game. Did we all pick the Bengals, or did some of us have the Titans?
Titans.
Chris had the Titans.
I had you got Henry, but he was clearly not himself. Like
he was clearly not 100%. Yeah. There's no way.
Okay, so we go into the first game. We go in Bengals at Titans. Most of us picked the Bengals, I feel, except for Chris. The Bengals or the Titans went in as the worst number 1 seed of all time, or one of the worst number 1 seed of all time.
Well, I gave the stats that showed that they were.
The worst.
They were the worst number 1 seed of all time. My question for you guys: did anyone truly think the Titans had a chance? And do the Bengals have a chance to continue past this round, or is it like, great job, you won 2 playoff games now?
Bengals have a chance. Yeah.
I obviously thought that the Titans were going to win, so yeah, I'm dumb. Do the Bengals have a chance? It's Mahomes. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. But he's our only hope.
Mahomes?
No, Burrow is our only hope to not see Mahomes in another fucking Super Bowl.
Why? Do you not want to see Mahomes in a Super Bowl?
No,
more people are more upset about Mahomes' brother and his fiancée than they're about Mahomes himself.
True. That's true.
Yeah, his brother's a real turd, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. With that weird TikTok dance he does that he thinks is cool.
It's not cool.
My support of the Bengals, I think, is because I had a bunch of them on my fantasy team this year, but I like seeing the team that never did well finally doing okay.
Yeah.
Go Bengals.
Really, Tyler? The whole way?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
I
don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl. The NFC is winning the Super Bowl. Whoever makes it.
Well, there's only one team that's making it.
Yeah. The Rams.
You think they're going to make it? Quick poll. Making it past the Chiefs, Tyler.
Making it past the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yes. I think they win this week. Yeah.
Mark?
I have them covering the spread. I'm debating whether to not take the money line or not.
What's the spread?
Chris?
7.5.
Okay. I think they're going to cover as well. No. Sadly, we're going to see Patty Boy again. What do you think? You didn't give your answer.
I know, I was avoiding it. I think it's going to be the Chiefs. I'd love it to be the Bengals.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs make it, they'll be the first team since the Bills to make it 3 straight Super Bowls.
Damn.
Okay, next we have 49ers versus the Packers. What a snooze fest until the very end. Mark, I feel you could do the whole minute on yourself. Aaron Rodgers continues to be a piece of shit. This truly is the result that God wanted, I feel. Obviously, everyone dunking on Aaron Rodgers after this, saying, the mistake was thinking Aaron Rodgers had a shot. And then, of course, who the fuck is Pat McAfee, and why does Aaron Rodgers keep going on a show constantly? He basically has said after the loss he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. He wants nothing to do with that.
He's too late in his career to be part of a rebuild anyways.
Oh, yeah, way too late.
And Twitter obviously was dunking all over Aaron Rodgers. He said it was very hard because basically the entire world was betting against me because of my vaccination status. And everyone was like, Josh Allen also is vaccine skeptical and no one knows if he was vaccinated. People were rooting against you because you're a piece of shit.
Right. Everybody was rooting for Josh Allen, maybe because they just didn't want to see Mahomes, but still.
So my question for this one is Aaron Rodgers retiring at this result, does this change anything because he was bounced so early from the playoffs?
No, he's not retiring.
I don't think he retires. No, he's still top of his game. He's going to win the MVP again. And there are a ton of teams who are literally just a quarterback away from being contenders. Broncos.
Yep.
But for every Tom Brady and every Peyton Manning, there's a Brett Favre.
When you
is
think
he
about
go somewhere and be successful,
I don't know.
I wouldn't say Brett Favre is more successful. I mean, he's
what she's saying is Peyton Manning goes to the Broncos, wins the Super Bowl. Brett Favre goes to the Vikings, and then the Jets, and does literally nothing.
First Jets and Vikings.
Yeah. So, I don't know which. I mean, he's got that Packers fucking legacy on him, so maybe he does go somewhere else and stink it up.
But like I said, he's gonna win MVP. I mean, you win the MVP, you're just gonna retire?
Okay, well, 3 questions. Totally aside from our Scotch Parting rundown. First is just quick aside because it was on People magazine. There was an article about Shanae and him about how it was a big headline. Oh, we agree to disagree, and that's how they make their relationship work. And it was an article about how a source saying they don't talk politics. They'd agreed early in their relationship to just we can't change each other's mind. Yada yada yada. Now, I am in the entertainment industry. I speak producer. I speak a little bit of PR person. And I read that as he kind of went rogue on his political comments.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, no.
She still wants to be in the entertainment industry. And you can't have those views in the entertainment industry.
Exactly. She wants to be like a left-wing crunchy granola, whatever. And so she was like, oh no, a source has to release this stuff. Mark, I just want to know from your perspective, please just quickly talk to me about that game.
It was hard to watch because early on, I mean, the offense was doing nothing. Well, the offense didn't do anything all game. Receivers were dropping passes, made Jimmy look bad, even though he wasn't great himself, but he was playing hurt, so you kind of understood where he was coming from. And then just before the half, when he throws that pick, I mean, right away I sent a text to everyone like, classic Jimmy. He's always good for that stupid pass. And then they go back the other way and get the field goal range before the half. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then the block happens. I'm like, oh, okay, good. 7-0 halftime.
Play.
Yeah, I'll take that. And then the fourth quarter, that last 5 minutes, oh my God, I lost my mind. I mean, you saw that video of the guy putting a TikTok. Yeah. I was like exactly the same as that guy. Yeah. Without all the paraphernalia, that guy had a lot more than I did, but oh my God.
Until it was over, did you ever think that they had it?
No. Not until Gould hit that field goal, I was worried that it wasn't going to go in. I mean, it was snowing, 46-yarder. You think, like, in regular conditions, that's a gimme, but...
Yeah, anything can happen in the snow.
Yeah. But Gould's perfect in the playoffs in his career, so I'm thankful that's still intact.
Okay, so you guys mentioned also super quick before we get to number 3, Aaron Rodgers. You think will be MVP?
I don't think so.
This
He will.
relates to our deep dive. Do you think his bullshit antics have stopped him from being MVP?
No, I don't think anything that. No.
Football doesn't care.
Not
Football's
at all.
not like baseball.
Okay.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Okay, so next is Rams at Bucks. Tyler, how was your house for this one?
It was interesting. I was moving things around in my house, so every so often I would hear, "Come on, Tom." And he's like, "Oh, that's bullshit." And that was clearly when he cut his lip. So yeah, it was rather interesting.
You mean when he bit his lip
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
that
it
one.
bleed?
Yeah.
So this
And
was also-
then the memes of "Don't make me bleed my own blood."
You know
came
what's
around,
funny?
and
I
so-
sent that to
man.
the other guys in our chat before that meme even popped up.
Mark's ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that was going to motivate him.
I thought
'Cause,
so
like-
too.
Well, I mean, it did in a way. It did in a way.
Yeah.
Because they did
No,
come
that
back.
was like in the
and-
second quarter, though.
Yeah,
when that
but
happened.
you still got to get the ball back because he lost the ball after that.
But the comic didn't start till the fourth quarter, though.
You don't want to give him anything to make him like really want to give her. Like, don't touch him. Don't say anything mean to him. Just be like, okay. So Rams at Bucks. Rams are moving on. Is this, my question for you guys, the end of Tom Brady? Also, aside, he got an unsportsmanlike conduct on that play.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting tackle. It was a bit up high.
It was
Something
definitely high.
happened.
It was
His
definitely
lip
high.
was bleeding. It could have been because as a result the helmet hit his mouth or something. He could have bit his own tongue as he got hit. He lipped off to the ref, no pun intended, after this hit because he couldn't believe it wasn't a penalty. I also was shocked. Like, Tom Brady gets called for roughing the passer all the time.
Yeah.
This was his first unsportsmanlike conduct in his entire career. That's really cool.
It actually really is.
Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers is making me like Tom Brady, and I hate him even more for that. With the Bucks losing, does this make Tom Brady any more or less likely to retire?
No.
No.
No, I would say that this makes him less likely. I still think it's a possibility, but
Sure it is, given his age. But,
but-
yeah.
I don't know if this makes him more likely. But I do still think, like, I don't think this is factoring in, but I do think that there's part of him that wants to please his wife, who just
Yeah, I
doesn't
was
want to
gonna-
see him out
I
there.
was gonna
every
say
week
I'm
anymore.
fairly confident it's all Giselle's.
Him
it's in
leaving will
Giselle's
be
court
all
right
Giselle.
now.
Yeah.
But his last post, I don't know if you guys saw, he thanked pretty much everyone except for the coach.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Is he pulling
Is he
a
going to
LeBron?
Miami next year?
No, if anything, he's going to get rid of Arians.
Yeah. So he's
Yeah.
pulling a LeBron and getting rid of the coach, putting
Yeah.
in his own guy. I mean,
So
he
is that
is
your
LeBron,
prediction,
isn't
Mark?
he?
Pretty much.
He's the LeBron James of football. Is that your prediction, Mark? He comes back to the Broncos, but new coach?
No,
The
coming back
Bucks?
to the Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah?
He's back, but Arians out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so obviously the next game is the game
This might have been the best football game I've ever watched. Like
of all time.
I can't believe how good that game was. 25 points. What is it, 25 points the last 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Is it 22 or 25?
It was 3 scores in the last
Whatever
minute
it
and a half.
was, that's incredible. It's like a CFL game. You don't see this in the NFL, and they still had all their timeouts.
I saw something similar almost 10 years ago when it was the Saints against the Niners.
Right.
When it was literally lead changes in the fourth quarter in the last 4 minutes.
I still can't get over how much fun that last few minutes was.
And then how dumb the
And
Bills
then how
were.
dumb man. Why are you lining up in prevent? Why are you lining up in prevent?
Whip kick
You're
that
giving
shit.
them 20 yards.
Whip kick that shit.
Start the clock.
Okay.
Could the
Clock
Bulls
out.
have won that game before overtime? And talk to me
Yes,
about
of course they could have. Had they actually played so one, squib the ball. You're cutting off 5 to 6 seconds right there.
Yeah, start the clock.
So then Mahomes only has 1, maybe 2 plays.
Get the field goal range.
And then they come out on first down in prevent. So you got your whole secondary 20 yards back. Like, you look at that play, they leave the whole middle wide open. They only need a field goal. It's not like they need a touchdown.
Yeah.
And it's like, did the defense the coordinator forget that? I was so mad.
They didn't have to go down the entire field.
No.
They just had to get 30 yards.
And they had timeouts. If they didn't have timeouts, sure. But they have timeouts. You need to play fucking defense. Like real
play man
defense.
Throwing a blitz in there.
Sure.
Because all of it, and this is part of our deep dive, was there was nothing else they could have done, or at least nothing else Josh Allen could have done, except the joke was.
Well, I think you put in the chat that you corrected that he could have called heads.
He could have called heads.
He could have called heads. Which
could have won that game.
I mean, he was let down by his coaches. The coaching staff let him down big time.
Clock out.
I keep pressing the wrong button.
Okay, so we are going to go. We have real Team Canada now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this roster makes more sense.
Does it? Yeah. I was going to say, does it? But yeah, okay. So
Fred Brathwaite, come on.
We have actual Team Canada. Highlights and goal. We have Devin Levi, Edwin Pascal, Matt Tompkins. Defensive names. Owen Powers, the big name, obviously. Forwards.
So no Carlo Koliakovo, is that what you're telling me?
No Carlo Koliakovo.
Or Bieksa.
We have David Desharnais. We have Landon Ferrero. Jack McBain, Mason McTavish, Eric Stahl, I assume will be captain. Daniel Winnick. So it's a lot of names of guys that are either juniors or playing in the KHL, Swedish Elite League, kind of everything we predicted. Looking at this roster, start the clock, where is this team finishing? And what are you excited about this team?
4th place. I'm not
Sticking
excited
with my
about anything.
bronze.
I'm not
sticking
excited
with my
about anything
bronze.
with this team.
Yeah, Sam, I'm sticking with the bronze still.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the guys did win bronze last go around. A lot of it were like, hey, look, we have Olympic roster veterans, and it's like, yeah, but the one that no one else could play into.
Yeah, it's
so no optimism to get beyond, even though it's a lot of KHL Canadians, Swedish Elite League Canadians.
I mean, that's the only reason why they still have hope, because they're still in game shape.
Yeah.
I'll be cheering for sure, but I'm not expecting a whole lot, to be honest.
I expect more from the Germany team.
What time are these games going to be on? That's my question.
Oh, early. Or
like
late, depending on depending on your point of view.
I won't be watching any of them.
They'll be replayed at
prime time
in the afternoon. Yeah, in prime time.
I won't be watching.
So
you
as
see
long
prime
as
time,
Yeah, if they were on if they were on at 11 or 12 in the afternoon, and I could tune in at work, I would do that. But nah.
I think I remember watching the bronze medal game on a elliptical screen at the gym, and I feel the same about this one. If maybe we're allowed to go to gyms again,
it's an 8-hour time difference.
Oh, that's not the worst.
Yeah.
So it's 10:30 a.m. right now.
Okay. Well, if they do nighttime games, that would be 8 o'clock. That'd still be like what? That's no good. It's no good. It's no good.
Yeah, like if the game started at 7 p.m., it's 3 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's no good at all. All right. I don't like that.
They would have to be an afternoon game in Beijing for us to really want to watch it at 11, 12.
Unless it's Ford Brothers, open the bars at 6 a.m.
There you go.
And even then, that's not like prime ratings for either.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 deep dives that that happened this week. So we'll start with baseball. So Dave and I were talking yesterday, and he said, you guys should talk about, because it's their last year of eligibility. The steroids era guys, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. And I was like, oh, when is the Hall of Fame announcement? Because that's a great topic.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's literally in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the aftermath of when it happened. So there was one guy got into the Hall of Fame here, David Ortiz. Let's give him props.
Yep.
I mean, although he was also around in the steroid era, we'll leave that one.
But he was still cranking them.
Yeah.
After
he had a down year after he got
right, but he was
discovered,
still
and
cranking
then came
them.
back.
Yeah, he was still cranking them. He deserves it. He 100% deserves it.
And honestly, the video of Pedro Martinez with him in the background, was adorable.
That's his boy.
It's his boy. It's so cute. Dave and I were at Fenway at what happened to be Pedro Martinez night.
Oh, okay.
And they had David Ortiz come out and give him his award, and like their romance is just so adorable. So pause for David Ortiz making it to the Hall of Fame. So this was the last year of eligibility for Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling,
Sammy Sosa.
He was never in that like echelon to really get in.
Really, I don't know. Maybe I misremember things.
I mean, he had that really good like baseball thing with McGuire, but outside of that, I mean, he didn't really do much, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and in the conversation of like, should they be in the Hall of Fame? Should they not? It was Sammy Sosa was always like, oh yeah, that guy.
Okay.
It was always about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
And if history taught us anything, Mark McGuire didn't make it. He was dropped off the ballot. Rafael Palmeiro was off the ballot. Like there were a couple of guys that should have been in the conversation that are not in the Hall of Fame. I'll get to A-Rod. So Barry Bonds, pause on A-Rod. A-Rod's first year of eligibility. There was a question. People were pretty sure he wouldn't get in, but it was what percentage of the vote would he get?
Yeah.
So you need 75, 70 or 75?
75.
A-Rod was 40 something. So he stays on it. He doesn't drop off. He stays on it. But he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is like, oh, okay, this is your punishment.
Yeah.
So Barry Bonds is the home run leader of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Clemens is arguably the greatest pitcher.
He's one of the most Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
Now neither of them are going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think you acknowledge. I thought what was going to happen is that they'd be like, all right, fine, let him in. It's their last year of eligibility. This was the punishment.
They've learned their lesson.
Well, not that they learned their lesson, but like you still have to celebrate the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a blemish on history, but you can't ignore what they've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just can't ignore it. But
I mean, when I told you yesterday why you were like, I wasn't surprised at results.
Yeah.
Only because no, I totally agree with you. They should be in, but I wasn't surprised at result because these baseball writers,
they're
finicky.
They're idiots.
Yeah. I have a feeling it has something to do with how they handled their end of it.
Do you think?
Not only that, but they weren't media friendly at all either. If they were super media friendly,
exactly, like
they get a sweetheart deal.
They denied it so much.
And how many shitty outbreaks did Bonds have with the media? Right.
Yeah,
and that plays that because the media has their votes. I don't know why the media has the vote on that.
Is it the same?
It's the writers for everybody. Yep.
Even
no.
Football's not, right?
Baseball's the only one where the writers are.
Okay.
So it's weird that way because like there's relationships that are are there, and if somebody doesn't like somebody, or if they don't like how they did something,
Yeah.
it's stupid,
the
right?
classic
Like
old
it's
boys club rules.
You
Yeah.
know what? You know what? You want
And it
you
needs
want
to
to put a
stop.
little asterisk beside their little bust in the Hall of Fame, then put an asterisk. Say, hey, he leads.
Absolutely.
He has the most home runs all time. He might have used some steroids here or there. You want to put that at the bottom, fine. But the dude belongs in the Hall of Fame. Clemens belongs in the Hall of Fame.
That's like with Pete Rose.
Yeah.
What he did was, I mean, after his career was done,
Well,
and now he's banned for life.
yeah, and that's so. What bugs me about it is it's not like baseball has been clean.
Right.
No, there's fucking racists in there. There's people who've cheated before they found out the rules who are in the Hall of Fame.
They're the only ones who got caught doing
Right.
it.
Exactly.
But even back in in the 70s and 80s when they were taking amphetamines to, get better performance.
So the name that's interesting, and I mean, I do want to get back to another point, but the name that's interesting also is Curt Schilling.
Because fuck him.
He wasn't nailed for PPEs, and I don't know if he was ever indicated for doing them.
Right.
But he just is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's just a giant douchebag.
But he's not, he isn't a rapist.
Nope.
He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't assault anybody. He's just an asshole. Sorry, you can hear Ron screaming in the background.
He knows mom's podcasting.
He also thinks Curt Schilling.
Yeah, I was gonna say he agrees with the Curt Schilling description.
Yep.
Curt Schilling makes babies cry. You hear that?
There you go, Curt Schilling. Fuck you. You don't get in the hall.
So he's an awful person, but he hasn't done anything awful, if that makes sense. So he's an interesting case.
Well, I think last year he said just take my name off the ballot because he knew he was fucked.
Right.
And so I just wanted to read a quote from an article about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Okay, so please bear with me. In 2014, the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame changed its rules for induction. Previously, the Baseball Writers ballot receiving at least 5% of the vote could hang around in the ballot for 15 years, assuming they never dipped below 5%. After the decision to change the rule in 2014, however, players were now allowed to stay on the ballot for a maximum of 10 years. 3 players were grandfathered into that rule, Don Mattingly, Alan Trammell, and Smith. Everyone else on the ballot was now subject to the new rule, including Bonds and Clemens, who had already been on the ballot for 2 cycles.
Wow.
So the rules were changed midstream. The rule changes supposedly weren't directly due to any specific players, but it wasn't too difficult to see what was happening. It became more clear in 2017 when late Hall of Famer and former Sunday Night Baseball broadcaster Joe Morgan, with an impassioned plea, said, "Let's avoid putting in steroid users." He didn't speak for all Hall of Famers, but he sure wasn't going rogue. Morgan multiple times mentioned other Hall of Famers. So for whatever reason, the line was drawn during the so-called PED era. So it's quite a leap of hypocrisy as we go back to Bud Galvin, Hall of Famer, by the way, in the 1880s, pumping monkey testosterone into his body.
Damn.
Or we discuss the rampant use of amphetamines in Morgan's era. No time period is clean. None.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting one. And it is here that I will remind everyone that Bug Selig was put into the Hall of Fame by a Hall-appointed veteran committee. Selig was the commissioner during this so-called PED era, when it exploded in Major League Baseball. He contradicted himself in public on different occasions, once claiming he didn't even know about so-called steroids in 98-99 during the great home run chase of McGuire and Sosa. But also testifying in front of Congress that he was way ahead of the game, knowing it was a problem in 1994. So Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
He was the commissioner during this time. He said during a testimony in front of Congress, he knew about it back in 1984, but obviously didn't say anything because who wants to learn the terrifying truth and who wants to see me sock some dingers?
Right. Sock some
And
dingers.
let's not forget, Selig only got in. He didn't get in the usual route. He got in through the Veterans Committee, which is how Clemens and Bonds can still make it.
Right. So they can still get in.
Yeah.
If there's justice in this world.
is a huge Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. was not a unanimous vote
Right.
to the Hall of Fame. There was like one guy that's
Literally, it was just one guy.
and his reasoning was Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous, and Babe Ruth was the greatest baseball player of all time, so no one should be unanimous.
Did he vote against Jeter? Because I believe he got in unanimously. Fucking hypocrite.
So those are the baseball writers. So how we all grew up in this era, except maybe Chris.
Yeah, I saw the monkey testosterone guy.
Yeah, Chris was around for monkey testosterone. How do we feel as baseball fans who grew up in this era about Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, and should they be in the Hall of Fame? Just as people who grew up.
Like I said, they 100% they should be in. 100%. And if you want to put a little asterisk, do it.
Tyler?
I heard on a radio show this morning that they talked about the mission statement of the Baseball Hall of Fame is to recognize history. Nothing about, off-field shenanigans, on-field politics, whatever. Just recognizing history.
There you go.
These guys are part of history.
Tyler?
And that's how it should be. You should recognize what they did on the field for the sport of baseball, nothing else. And they can't, but they should be in.
And that was that era.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Guys. It was that era. It wasn't wrong then. That was everyone did it.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Probably like in 5-10 years, they're gonna start talking about the sticky ball era with all these pitches.
Oh yeah,
with the sticky
100%.
What if they change the bat to be a different wood and that totally changes the game? It's like, I don't know, these guys were the pine bat days. It's like, no, that was the 90s. They did drugs.
They did. We did drugs in the 90s, okay?
Well, and to throw it on a different sport for a moment, to go to the NFL and say all the records that are now being broken are with an 18-week season.
Yeah, like
not a 17-week season.
They're talking about,
so
this guy threw so many yards. And it's like he had an extra fucking game.
You have a full extra game. You have a whole extra game. But if the other guys had an extra game, wouldn't they be able to do that? The same thing?
What I said to those people? I said to those people, no one complained when they changed it from a 14-game schedule to 16.
I'm complaining.
2 extra games.
I would have.
Yeah, I'm complaining.
Okay, so we have our other deep dive ball, and we'll try and do it as quickly as possible. So the Buffalo Bills were the victim, although as established during our rundown, they for sure could have won that game had they played it differently.
But they didn't need to go to overtime. That was their coaches fucked up huge.
But the NFL overtime rules,
God bless them,
playoff overtime rules are real silly.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
So they basically start a new game. They do a coin toss. Who wants to take it? If someone scores a field goal, the other team gets a chance to answer, and then you keep going. But if someone scores on the first possession, a touchdown, it's over.
Or a defensive score. A safety will also end the game.
Or a safety.
Because it's switch possessions, so yeah.
So that's what happened. The game went into overtime. They flipped a coin. The Chiefs won. They decided. I don't know who would say no thanks. We don't want to start with
Nobody.
the ball.
No. You never say.
Unless you're Matt Hasselbeck, and then
want the ball.
Yeah,
we're
given the
score.
stats that they put out for teams winning coin tosses.
Mark, what's the stat? What's the stat for winning the coin toss in the playoffs, and who wins the game?
So with this new overtime rule that they establish, the team that wins coin toss is 10-2, and have won on the first drive 7 of those games.
Who were the two that lost? Is one of them a Hasselbeck?
One of them was
no, because that rule,
the Rams.
The rule did not exist until.
Oh, sorry, the Saints.
Or this
the Saints
version
Rams
of it.
game.
Yeah, this version of it didn't exist until Tebow was the first one to win a game.
I think Tebow was the first year that they had. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tebow
feel about rules being different for playoffs that aren't the same for the rest of the sport. Like we've talked about this with soccer and the shootout. It's like I don't understand, and hockey in the shootout.
Listen,
Not
if
in
the
the
NHL
playoffs.
if the NHL ever switches to the shootout in the playoffs, like it's over. I would never watch another hockey game.
Mayhem.
I
Yeah.
would never watch
Things
another
that
hockey game.
exist in playoffs that don't exist in regular season and vice versa drive me insane.
I'm okay with it because it's a different, like the stakes are different. But yeah, I don't like the other team doesn't even get to touch the ball. It just doesn't seem right.
And when people say, well, the Buffalo defense should have stopped it, I'm like,
Right.
well, who's to say that the Kansas City Chiefs defense was going to stop Josh Allen?
Exactly. And
Let's test their defense.
neither team probably would have stopped the
Exactly, they
offense.
As we showed in the previous minute and a half.
Yeah.
So
both teams walked down the field, scored touchdowns.
I've seen some suggestions. Now, obviously, the CFL and the NCAA overtimes, I think, are the way to do football overtime.
Absolutely.
I don't understand why the NFL isn't already doing something like that.
Yeah, and when you tell people CFL rules, like, no, we can't do it. Like, well, the NCAA does it.
Yeah.
Go on.
No,
Tell us
no.
about the NCAA rules, because I believe you talked about Grey Cup spectacular, because unfortunately this is how Hamilton lost.
What? They didn't
The
play.
Grey Cup?
They didn't play a Grey Cup this year.
Oh, okay.
There was no Grey Cup this year. What are you talking about?
Okay, so hypothetically, the one the Ottawa Stampeders one that went into
Yes,
overtime.
that I remember
The
that
one
game.
we went to
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about overtime?
So you start on the 35. You already start in field goal range, right?
Yeah.
You start on the 35, and then you just go. And you try to score a touchdown. If you don't score a touchdown, you kick a field goal. And if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. So
Best part.
Right. So best part. So then you go, and then the other team goes. And then if you're still tied, you go again. And in the regular season, you go twice, and if it's still tied, it's over. In the playoffs, you go until someone wins. It's a shootout in football where everybody gets a turn. And it makes sense to me.
Wouldn't that be fun for fans? Because we get to, what do we love as fans of sports other than scoring?
Exactly.
They've changed the rules of multiple sports. I'm thinking hockey with the trapezoid bullshit. Like, all the rules are to make more scoring in every sport. And wouldn't it be fun to change the rules of the NFL playoffs to make more scoring?
And I don't get why they would be against it, because it's already established in NCAA. It's not like it's a completely foreign concept to them.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I saw an interesting, a different solution. And so rather than changing it as radically as this, you go, first team gets the ball. They score a touchdown. They can only kick a single. They can only go for a single. The second team gets the ball. If they get a touchdown, they can only go for 2.
Well, they have to get a touchdown because they're...
Sure. So they get a touchdown, but then they have to go for 2. No matter what, the game's over.
Ooh, that's interesting.
No matter what, the game's over. Unless...
I still like the shootout better.
I guess unless they miss the single, and then they also miss the 2-point.
Yeah.
But...
See?
I saw one that you guys might have sent it that was just a change to the coin toss. Of you established that at the
I think
beginning.
Dave threw it in there.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think it could even be maybe as simple as you do the coin toss at the beginning of the game.
You just keep that first coin toss.
Or whatever you say. So it's Chris and I playing against each other. Chris chooses to receive. That means if we get tied and go into overtime, I receive now.
Oh.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the jump ball rule in the NCAA basketball, where it's established who gets possession on jump ball. Because they don't do an actual jump ball.
Right.
Fuck it. Do the XFL coin toss.
Yeah.
Was that where they just run to the
They
center
just
field?
run at the football and try to get the football.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs would win. Just send Tyreek Hill,
It's
man.
true.
That guy's a fucking
Exactly.
genius.
Did you see him give him the peace sign? And the dude was ahead of him.
Yeah.
It was so good. He's so fucking fast. God damn it. And what are you leaving Kelsey wide open for?
Oh my God.
Damn it.
Chris sounds like a Bills fan.
No, I'm not.
What that happened? Like, what are you doing letting Travis Kelsey?
They rushed 4, and we're in prevent. Rush
You know
3
what that sounds like?
and put one extra guy on fucking Kelsey.
That sounds like Bucks fans too. How the fuck do you leave Cooper Cup open?
I mean, how do you leave Cooper Cup
Yeah,
open?
how
What
do
are
you
you
leave-
doing?
How do you leave Cooper Cup that open? Like,
What are
he
you
was
doing?
wide open.
At the end of the day, if you had to, like, there's one person that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw to. If it's like gun to his head, who is he going to throw to?
It's
And it's
Kelce.
Travis Kelce.
It's Kelsey all
He's
day.
coming down with it every time.
Every time.
And he's a mismatch in the middle.
Yeah.
An absolute mismatch.
I think we talked about it last podcast about our betting parlays, and I try not to put touchdown scores on it, and I think I said unless it's Travis Kelce, because he's scoring.
Yep.
So there are things Buffalo absolutely could have done, but as football fans, and as incredible as those last 2 minutes were, it was tragic not to see Buffalo get a chance to score.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous that they didn't get a chance. And it almost ruins how good that game was.
It does ruin how good that game was.
It was such a sad trombone ending to what is an incredible game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still it's still an exciting game. It's still one of the best NFL games I've ever watched.
Well, Tyler, soccer goes on forever. Right?
But
And nothing
it doesn't.
happens. And nothing
With
happens in it.
With the shootouts, with the kicking to the goalie, the penalty kicks. That's the one. The kicking to
Yeah. The penalty kicks.
go on forever. So you watch soccer forever. So
You
you're
could.
watching sports for like 12 hours with no one actually winning.
We did that a couple years ago. Remember that playoff hockey game?
Yeah.
That had another game and had to push all of the other games. I blame the Bruins' loss on that. Because they were scheduled to play, and then it was like, oh, this one went on. So Tyler, you're used to watching sports forever.
Yeah.
You happily would have sat and watched the Bills answer.
Oh, fuck yeah. And then the Chiefs answer back, and the Bills answer back, and back and forth
Oh my
until
god, it would have
somebody.
been
it would have been epic.
145 to 138.
Like I
It would have been great.
You don't want this game to go on for 10 years. I understand that, and advertising and the monies, etc.
No, but like
All of the things
athletes get tired, right? Yeah. So somebody's gonna screw up or whatever, and that's gonna help the other team. But the fact that the Bills didn't get the chance to do it hurts the Bills. Everybody gets tired. Like, that's why hockey is so good in the overtime. It's period after period after period after period until somebody scores, and somebody's going to screw up because somebody got tired and didn't want to chase after the puck on their shift. And like, that's most of the goals. So why not football?
Last year player for the year before, when Marchand was tired, came off the bench, and either it was something that he didn't hustle quite enough, and they scored, and the Bruins were out of the playoffs because of that. And it was,
as he was going to the bench,
they were just fucking bagged.
Remember Alex Kovalev? Remember, this is a long time ago, but he got slashed on the wrist, and he's like,
"Oh, my
hand!" And then it was the Bruins, right?
It was Habs against Bruins, yeah.
That's the one I always remember, where he like directly cost them the game.
Leaves the puck there, let the Bruin go in for a breakaway.
But if Buffalo, so the Chiefs scored, and it's like, hey, it's not over yet. Buffalo gets the ball. Buffalo scores. I would keep watching.
Yeah, you'd be on the edge of your seat the entire overtime.
It could have been the best overtime of all time too. Because it could have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
It would have been the greatest overtime ever because you were actually able to go back and forth, back and forth.
I was going to say, with some hybrid work of like, if the Chiefs scored a touchdown, they had to go for two.
Just do the NCAA rules. It's not new to these guys.
Yeah, just do it. Just do
they
the NCAA.
They came from the college ranks. Yeah, they know it. The American audience knows it. College football is a lot bigger than the NFL.
Yeah.
Right?
Like most of the players in the NFL right now have played in the NCAA with these rules already.
Yeah,
so
they're familiar with it. It's not new.
Bring it on. And like, yes, go for two. Absolutely.
Is there any
every time?
Is there any push to get this changed? Like, is this actually going to change, or are we just fucking old man screaming at cloud right now?
I mean,
right now, I think we're old man screaming at a cloud.
there might be a little bit more juice now, just because it did happen to the Chiefs a couple years ago, and it's the Chiefs again. And Andy Reid even said, publicly that it's an unfair way to settle a game.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you
so
hear
more teams pushed for this, they might get it.
Did you hear what he said to Mahomes when he went out with 13 seconds left?
No.
He says to him, when times are grim, be the Grim Reaper. I fucking love that quote. I love it so much.
Patrick Mahomes left the team celebration to go comfort Josh Allen.
Did he really?
Because he knew. Yeah. He knew. He was in the same...
He went over. Yeah. He went straight over to Josh and gave him a hug.
Okay, now I'm okay with how bad it was. Now I'm okay with Mahomes going to the Super Bowl again.
Are you sure? Watch his brother again on TikTok.
Nah, I can ignore that.
Patrick can go. His brother can't.
That's right. He is banned from the stadium.
Like the NFLPA is incredibly powerful, and I think that's the hurdle, because you're asking the players to play longer.
Yeah,
right? I think in that instance they want it though. You don't want to lose
time.
That way.
But the thing is there's no time if you do this overtime. Time doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
There's no time. There's no timeouts. There's no nothing. It's play.
You're asking, like, you're putting your body on the line. You could get hurt. Like, talk about making a mistake.
It's for the championship. Like, this is to go to the next round. I don't care.
This is playoff overtime rules, not regular season overtime.
I would say regular season over. I would say get rid of regular season overtime. This would be my thing is, if the game ends in a tie, it ends in a tie, and then in the playoffs we do this.
Yeah, you're right. I like it. I don't know. Do we think we're gonna see a change?
No,
not this season. No, but I think eventually, but not this season.
In a couple of years,
they'll take another high-profile team to lose this way.
I mean the highest level of the minor leagues in baseball is getting robot referees or robot umpires in the on the plates. So
let's go.
We're progressing.
You guys, it's happening.
Let's go.
Super quick, because we are long. Any other sports news to talk about?
I want to quickly highlight some Canadians playing the Australian Open, because both men were fucking awesome.
Oh,
Shapo almost pulled off a comeback against Nadal, down 2 sets, forces a 5th set and loses it, and then Felix had a 2-0 lead. Oh man, I had $10 on him to win the entire thing. And I had $10 on him to win that match. And when I woke up this morning, he was going to the 3rd set. I'm like, oh shit, he's up 2-0. Okay.
And then you turned it on and jinxed him.
It's your fault.
No, because then I have to go to work, and then I'm watching on my phone as I'm working. Like, oh no, oh god. But what a performance by both Canadian men.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
bodes well for the future for sure.
Yeah, I had written off Shapovalov. I thought he had rounded it and was like big promise. But it's nice to see him still successful.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was OJ win, I think 5 hours.
Yeah.
Damn.
What a match.
So Mark, are you saying you slept less than 5 hours last night?
I always sleep less than 5 hours every day. I go to bed at around like 2 a.m, get up at 5:30ish.
Yeah,
that's too much. I go to bed at 2 and wake up at 8. So.
Well, it's all these West Coast hockey games I'm live betting that keeps me up, right?
So Chris, you get 6 hours of sleep a night ish?
Yeah.
Tyler?
Oh god, I'm in bed. I'll probably be in bed in the next 5 minutes.
Tyler doesn't have.
I was gonna say as soon as we turn this off, bed's right there.
Tyler doesn't have children. What's that?
No, I don't have children. That's true.
When are you waking up, Tyler?
Probably 8.
Okay.
I have about a 10-step commute to work.
Yeah, that's been lovely.
It's been fucking awesome. I'm almost 2-year anniversry of working from home.
And us poor plebs on the bottom row here, we still gotta go to work every day.
You also know what happened 2 years ago today?
What?
Oh, yeah.
There's a statue of the two of them at the crash
at
site.
the crash site. Yeah, Kobe and his daughter. Shit, why I blanking on her
Gianna.
name. Thank you.
Oh,
what a day that was. That was the Pro Bowl, was it not? Because I believe I was watching the Pro Bowl when I heard it happened.
What's the Pro Bowl?
You guys sent the text messages. I heard from you guys for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was at Starbucks about to go to a Longo's grocery shopping for being in Starbucks, being like, "Holy fuck!"
And you weren't wearing a mask
holding
either.
the world together.
No,
yeah, exactly.
But
He goes. Oh, Mark fucking died.
Mark.
Miss you, Mark.
See you, Mark. Damn. Whatever he was gonna say, they didn't want us to hear it.
It was probably very, very thoughtful and insightful.
Well, we are at Scotch Sporting Twitter. Oh, there he is. Twitter, Instagram,
that was weird.
Facebook, all that fun stuff. Tell your friends. We would love if you like listening to us. Maybe tell one more person, or perhaps two, that you like listening to us. But otherwise, thanks for listening, everybody.